to the United States now, where the former U.S. President Donald J. Trump has been ordered to pay roughly $5 million to Jean Caroll. Now, she is the woman who in 2019 accused Trump of raping her years earlier in the dressing room of a Manhattan department store. Now, she made that revelation in a memoir. Trump accused her of being mentally ill and fabricating the story. But now, a jury in a civil trial has sided with her, saying Caroll was sexually abused by Trump and defamed when he denied her story. To put this into context, we're now joined by David Levinthal, editor-in-chief of Raw Story. Dave, thanks for joining us so quickly today.
Hey, you're welcome, Michael.
So the jury, as I said, has sided with Caroll, and she is just one of at least 24 women who have accused Trump of either rape, sexual assault, or sexual harassment. How significant is this decision?
It's incredibly significant in that from here on forward, every opponent of Donald Trump, every detractor of Donald Trump, and certainly people running for the presidency in 2024 against Donald Trump, and that includes Democrats and many Republicans who are lining up to challenge him, are going to paint him with this, are going to hold this over his head and say, we cannot trust this man. We cannot put him back in the White House for another 4-year term, knowing what we do know now. Now, mind you, this is not a criminal trial. This was a civil trial, as you mentioned. Donald Trump has been found liable for this situation, but he has not been convicted of a crime. He is not going to go to jail, and he will continue to run for president for as long as he sees fit.
Now, Donald Trump has responded by calling this another chapter in the so-called great witch hunt of Donald Trump. So I wonder if this will fuel his base or cause his base to crumble. I get what you're saying about his political opponents, but what about those Americans who still firmly believe in Donald Trump?
Oh, it's almost certainly going to fuel them going forward, at least in the short term, because there are many Americans who support Donald Trump and believe that anything that is negative against Donald Trump is a witch hunt. It is something to attack him. It's something to bring him down and also to prevent him from regaining the presidency in 2024. So just about anything it could happen, and they're going to still be on Donald Trump's side. And recent polling plays that out. Donald Trump still retains a great deal of support within the Republican Party and within his loyal base. But if we're having this conversation, say, a half year from now, Michael, we could be having a very different conversation, because this is just one of several very pointed and very dramatic legal clouds that are currently hanging over Donald Trump's head.
Yeah, and let's pick up on that, because as you said, this one is the civil case, but there are potential criminal charges coming up against Donald Trump. Of course, we know that he's been indicted in one for falsifying business records to cover up an election law violation. That is the allegation being made against him in that indictment. He also faces potential criminal charges stemming from the January 6th riot and for attempting to have Biden's win overturned in Georgia. So future cast this for us. Going into the months ahead, just how big of the story is this going to be in the Donald Trump saga as he tries to secure that nomination?
The Donald Trump legal saga specifically is going to be the story, because it's just simply not going to go away. You mentioned one of the 4 active criminal cases or investigations that are now dogging Donald Trump. Well, that might not go to trial until the end of this year or early next year. What's going to be happening then? Well, the primaries for the presidential race in 2024 will be beginning in earnest. People will be voting. Donald Trump will be competing against any of several challengers. And as a result, there's going to be almost this dual split screen situation where you have Donald Trump standing for votes and yet being in a courtroom or having a court case decided potentially against him in the midst of all of this. So we've never really seen anything like this. There's no historical analog for what we're facing right now, and because of that uncertainty, I feel like we say this every 4 years, Michael, but this is going to be the most unprecedented presidential election that we probably have seen here in the United States.
Which, of course, means you and I will keep speaking. Dave, thank you for this. Really appreciate the time.
My pleasure. Thank you.